Welcome to Adding Dollars. In this video, I'll be going over my weekly update on the highest volatility stocks. So stocks that are paying the highest premiums for covered calls and cash secured puts. Before jumping into this week's high volatility scan, if you're new to cash secured puts or covered calls, make sure to check out the videos in the description. Now let's go ahead and jump into this week's scan. As always, I'm on the Scan tab in the Thinkorswim platform, and I'm going to be scanning the S&P 500. If you want to see me scan a different stock list, then feel free to leave that down below in the comments. After I click Scan, I should end up with a list of all of the stocks in the S&P 500, sorted by the highest implied volatility at the top, and then descending from there. Keep in mind that this is after hours data, so some of this may look different when the video comes out or after the market opens up again. At the top of the list, we can see that we have Supermicrocomputer with an implied volatility of about 176%, and this is one that we've looked at many times. Also, there are a lot of stocks that seem to have earnings coming up relatively soon. Let's go ahead and look at Vistra Corp, one that we haven't looked at before. Currently trading at about $119. And it looks like it has earnings coming up this week on November 7th, with current implied volatility being at about 76%. We can now jump over to the trade tab and look at what kind of premiums it's currently paying out. I'm going to be looking at the cash secured puts and covered calls expiring this upcoming Friday, so about 5 days away as of the time of filming this video, but again, that might be different when the video comes out. Before we jump into cash secured puts and covered calls, just want to call out this custom column that I have on my platform called percentage premium. It basically quickly calculates the percentage profit for selling a cash secured put at a specific strike price. So in this case, you would get 3% depending on the premium and the strike price. And it does a similar thing for covered calls, which you can see right here as well. If you want to add this to your own platform, then check out the link in the description, which has free instructions on how to add this to your own Thinkorswim platform. Now let's go ahead and start with cash secured puts. It looks like you could make about 2% selling the $106 cash secured put. This means you would collect about somewhere between $185 and $230, so maybe $200 in premium for selling this cash secured put. But your risk here is if you did end up getting assigned on the position, is you would need about $10,600 in order to purchase 100 shares for every option contract that you're selling. On the covered call side, it looks like you could maybe buy 100 shares for about $11,600, and then you could go ahead and sell the $16 call options, or right at the money call options, and collect about $910 in premium, or about 7.97% profit. Again, some of these numbers might look different when the market opens, and this might just be after hours data. Let's go ahead and jump back to the Scan tab and take a look at a couple more. Let's go ahead and look at Warner Brothers. It's a much more cheaply priced stock, so currently trading at $8.23, and it looks like it also has earnings coming up on November 7th, so later this week. Currently has an implied volatility of about 72%. We can go ahead and jump back to the trade tab and see what kind of premiums it's currently paying out. Again, looking at the 5 days out options and starting with cash secured puts, it looks like you could make about 1% selling the $7 cash secured puts, and this means you would probably end up collecting about $7 in premium for selling this cash secured put. The risk here is if you did end up getting assigned on this position, you would need $700 in order to purchase 100 shares of the stock. On the covered call side, you could buy 100 shares right now for about $823 and then sell the $8.50 call options and collect about $30 in premium for selling that, or about 3.71%. Let's jump back to the Scan tab and look at one more stock. Let's go ahead and look at Nvidia, one that we haven't looked at in a while, I think. Currently trading at about $135 with earnings coming out on November 20th, so not this upcoming week, with an implied volatility of about 62% right now. Let's jump back to the trade tab and see what kind of premiums it's currently paying out. Starting with cash secured puts, it looks like you could make about 1.51% selling the 131 cash secured put. This means you'd probably collect about $196 or $198 in premium. And your risk here is if you did end up getting assigned on the position, you would need $13,100 in order to purchase the 100 shares if you did end up getting assigned. On the covered call side, you could buy 100 shares right now for about $13,540 and then go ahead and sell the $140 call options and collect about $186 in premium, or about 1.34%. Jumping back to the scan tab, feel free to pause the video and take a look at the full list of S&P 500 stocks sorted by highest implied volatility at the top and then descending from there. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below and I'll make sure to answer them. And as always, if you want to help support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.